Family, peace, 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 peace. All right, so if you guys are new to my channel, my name is Dana Bryant. I do these inspiration videos just talking about things I've been through, gone through, and grew through. I also talk about manifestation, the laws of the universe, and things of that nature. So today's video is about how I had to forgive myself, right? A lot of times we tend to forgive others, but I think the major factor is that we have to forgive ourselves. And when I say forgive ourselves, we have to forgive the story that we keep on playing in the subconscious mind that is not allowing us to show up the way we know that we can show up, like our full selves. And this came about because I was at the park. So lately I've been going to the park next to my house and just bringing books so I could start reading at the park and really getting out of my comfort zone, okay? And so today I was at the park and I was reading this book by Miss IYANLA VANZANT, Trust. And the part that made me do this video is I was reading a passage and I said, oh my goodness, right? This is why I've been showing up a certain type of way. And I'm going to read just a little bit of it. And it says, trust is an individual experience and the practice of reaching into yourself and pulling up and out what you need in any given situation. It requires that you have a pretty good sense of who you are and what inner resources you have at your disposal. The condition and conditioning of your heart and mind are key factors as you learn to trust yourself. What you learned about yourself during childhood and what you have experienced as an adult will come rushing to the surface in every situation where you are required to make a major life change. New decisions reveal a host of unknowns. This is where you are most vulnerable as human beings, and we want guarantees. We all have a deep desire to know that we are doing the right thing in the right way to get the right results. More often than not, we are more afraid of doing the wrong thing than we are committed to doing the right thing. It's in those moments when self-doubt and indecision join with the absence of guarantees that labor the creating something new or desire begins. Until or unless you can draw on or tap into the stars in your crown during your labor, you will be left to your limited human resources. That is when things can really get tricky and even more painful, as the woman discovered in Revelation. So, on this page, Miss IYANLA VANZANT, she was talking about Revelations, and she was given an example of, or a metaphor of what it means for women to be pregnant, right? And what she was saying was that we have, and it's like feminine energy and masculine energy, which we all have, right? Males have feminine energy and masculine energy. Females have feminine energy and masculine energy. We both have both energies, right? And as duality. Or is it law of polarity? But whatever, okay? And so in that, when I was reading it, right, and when Miss IYANLA VANZANT talked about their childhood, like the stuff that we going through in our childhood, oftentimes it'll rush to the forefront, right? And our adult, let me see where it says, what you learned about yourself during childhood, what you have experienced as an adult will come rushing to the surface in every situation. And I don't know, I'm sitting at the park and I'm reading it, and then instantly it brought me back to when I was a little girl. So some of you guys know my story. When I was a little girl, I was raised mainly by my father because my mother, she had a drinking problem. And my father, he had custody of me. And being in his custody, right, my father, he would have people who use drugs, women who sold their bodies, and, all these different things. And by the age of, 5, I believe, I was then taken from my father, and then I was placed into a foster home, and I was in a foster home, and then I ran away. I seen one of my father's girlfriends, I ran away, and then I was placed into a group home. And then after being placed into a group home, I then started staying with a guardian. Not gonna say it. First of all, she would tell me, she would, explain certain things to me. Like, she'd say, well, when you go to your school tomorrow, tell them X, Y, and Z. Tell your teacher, verbatim, word for word. And she'd, say, she'd give me a speech, and then she'd say, all right, what did I just say? And then I would repeat it, but I would get it wrong. And she would say, no, I didn't just say that, and it made me feel, some type of way, but I never made the connection of, how I was showing up in life, right? And I'm not blaming, the guardian who had custody of me, because I do get, she did the best that she knew how to do. She had 2 other kids, and then she took on somebody else's responsibility. And so she was just doing the best that she knew how to do. And I was, reading the book, and as I'm in the park, I'm having this aha moment about it's times where as though I didn't show up, being smart, right? Because, I felt like, my confidence wasn't there because, I didn't want to, shine my light on myself. I was afraid to do so because I remember when I was younger how it affected me. Like, if I said something and I got it wrong, the scolding and no, that's not what I said, the, being reprimanded and, those different things. And, I was thinking it as I was in the park. And so when I came home, I instantly remembered this practice that when I went to Lisa Nichols' Right to Speak to Make Millions, when I went to her seminar, I remember she said, this is one of the things that you could do. I don't know if it was in that seminar or from online when I had booked one of her programs, but I remember she said this is one of the things that you could do. You could get in the mirror. She said, it's different days. You do different, lessons. And I believe on the first or the third day, you get in the mirror and you forgive the person who may have done, whatever, but then you forgive yourself. And so I'm in the mirror, and instead of me forgiving the person first, I forgave myself, right? And then I then start, forgiving a person, saying, I forgave them. They did the best that they knew how to do. I forgave myself for not showing up, as my full potential. And then I started looking at how that affected my children, right? Because a lot of times we tend to do things that is embedded into the subconscious mind, and we don't have an idea like why we do some of the things. And our children oftentimes will say, well, you mean, right? I know my children said that to me a few times, okay? And I remember when I then went into this moment where as though I remember when my children was smaller, right? Mainly the boys. And my oldest son, when he would do his homework, Like, I would erase it, and then I would start yelling like, no, you got this wrong, like, you know, do it again. And I was just practicing what somebody did to me, right? And then with my youngest son, the same exact thing. I was just practicing what somebody did to me. And I started asking myself today, like, how did you feel, you know, when this was done, you know, to you or whatever. And I think that's what it's really about in life. It's not about us trying to be perfect, but it's about us being aware. And when we are aware, we can say, oh, well, I know how that made me feel, you know, when somebody did it to me. And then we start understanding like how our children may feel when we do the same thing, you know, to our children. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, you know, but what I am saying is that when we are doing the work on ourselves, self-healing, it is not made to look all pretty, right? Because, honey, I was crying. It's not made to look all pretty. It is for us to accept ourselves for the indifferent, the illusionary good, the illusionary bad, to accept ourselves and understand that we are doing the best that we know how to do, right? And so I just wanted to do this video. My higher self told me to take 6 days, and here I am. I'm doing a video. It told me to take 6 days from doing YouTube, and here I am. I'm posting a video. So I hope you guys got something from this. Do understand that everything is within you. You know, you're doing the best that you know how to do. Don't beat yourself up, right, for something that you did not know. Because if you knew better, you would have done better. Just keep on going. Keep on applying the tools. Take time out for yourself. Affirm who you are. And, you know, just understand and believe that you got this. Right? Trust the process. Sometimes it's not going to make sense to us, right? But if we keep on going, the answers will be revealed. And so with that being said, I love you guys.